Nice job, Judy. Hi, everybody. It's your old buddy, Uncle Rich, for the truth detector for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, I've been having a lot of fun on Facebook with Uncle Joey and some of my other friends. And, what happened? Okay. But last week we had a disaster, so we got to keep all our fingers crossed. All right, so anyway, guys, tonight's show is called, the topic will be to have a goal of no coal, a no coal goal. And you're going to say, Rich, come on, we need fossil fuels. Guys, we did. You know, for a time we needed fossil fuels and they served us well. But the time has come. The time is over. And guys, we've reached a tipping point. And you're going to say, what are you talking about, a tipping point? How could something change so dramatically? Guys, it's always about what it's always about. And what's it always about? The money. So, Judy, let's show everybody what the tipping point is with clip number 00, please.
What happened in 2012 was something unprecedented.
Natural
gas per BTU became cheaper than coal, and that was the point at which you saw coal sort of go off a cliff. And we went from having 20,000 coal mining jobs in eastern Kentucky to 10,000 jobs almost overnight.
So guys, look at the amount of people they lost almost overnight. And why? Because it became cheaper to use gas. And the coal company and the power companies don't care what they use to generate electricity. All they care about is making profits, making money. So Judy, can you play that clip again? Just the beginning. So we'll see what the tipping point is. Go ahead, just let the beginning
What happened
run.
in 2012 was something unprecedented. Natural gas per BTU became cheaper than coal, and that was the point at which you saw coal sort of go off a cliff. And we went from having 20,000 coal.
So guys, you see, coal went off a cliff. And, you know, we're going to do a reality check. And this is from, I think this is from CNN. And guys, they went out. You know, it's been 2 years since Trump made all his promises that he was going to revive this industry, the coal industry. So anyway, we're going to play this little clip for you. And this will just show you how deceitful the president can be. And then we'll follow it up with some fun. So Judy, clip number 01, please.
We came here for a reality check.
A reality check.
Across America, more and more coal-fired smokestacks are smoke-free.
Smoke-free,
the power plants beneath them, cold and dark. The mines that once fed them, abandoned. But for the past couple of years, miners and their families let themselves believe that a coal comeback was on the way.
A coal comeback?
Thanks to promises
Give
like
me a
this.
break, will you?
We are putting our great coal miners back to work.
No, you're not. Stop
He's
lying.
trying to get their votes. He isn't telling them the truth.
He's lying to them.
He's lying to them.
You used to work in this mine.
I worked in this mine. I was a face boss.
So guys, he worked in the mine, so we're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. And he's going to tell you why the industry ain't coming back. And it's all about what it's always all about. But, you know, what we're going to show you next is Trump put out one of his tweets, and he wanted to try to save the industry. So, Judy, can you bring up number 02, please? And this is one, coal is an important part of our electricity generation mix, and at TVA News should give serious consideration to all factors before voting to close viable power plants like Paradise number 3 in Kentucky. Guys, what are we going to do? The writing's on the wall, and Trump is too ignorant to understand what's going on. So let's see with the next clip what happened with the federal utility when they decided to close at Paradise. So Judy, clip number 3, please.
A federal utility board has voted to close a coal-fired power plant in Muhlenberg County, Kentucky. That's despite the objections of President Trump and some state GOP leaders. Today, the Tennessee Valley Authority voted to retire the remaining coal-fired unit at its Paradise fossil facility by December of 2020. The decision could put 130 people out of work. Also, the coal the TVA purchases from nearby mine locations supports 135 jobs. One board member wanted to postpone that vote until May.
The livelihood of many depends on this plant staying open, and that's a primary concern. I'm just not completely comfortable with the recommendation because the impact and the ripple effect on the community cannot be fully quantified.
Now, Trump tweeted his support for that plant after state GOP leaders, including Republican Governor Matt Bevin, urged the board to delay that vote. TVA officials say costs to its 10 million customers will be about $320 million less to close that facility. And we'll have a reaction from the Muhlenberg County Judge Executive ahead at 5 and 6.
And you know, guys, you hate to kick a guy when he's down. But the thing is, how could Trump be so foolish as to not be able to understand, that the coal industry is a dead industry? It's dead. It's over. Kaput. Finished. And if the guys that ran the coal mines and that made profits for all those years were men of character, they would start to train these guys on putting up solar, putting up wind. And guys, we're going to get into a lot of renewables tonight because, we want to prove to everybody what's going on. So let's see, the next clip that we're going to show is, this is from Rush Limbaugh. And Rush Limbaugh was on Chris Wallace on Fox News. And guys, I want to tell you, I think, and don't quote me, but I think they said 1/3 of the radio audience listens to Rush. And what does Rush do? He tricks the simple folk, people like Uncle Joey, people like Kenny Johnson, people like Eddie Shalhoub. He convinces these bozos that climate change and global warming is a hoax. And guys, the last thing you want to do is say something on TV that Uncle Rich can clip off a show, because I tell you, we are going to make Rush look like an idiot. And then we're going to prove it. And that's the best. And that's one of the things that makes this so much fun, what I do here, because I can get my revenge. And when somebody lies, I can call them out. And guess what? If anybody wants to call in and challenge me, guys, the phones are open. Judy, there you go. Look at Judy's on the ball. But can you there you go. So anyway, now Rush, and look how deceptive he is. So Judy, let's prove it to everybody with clip number 4, please.
The greatest country ever. They have more opportunity for contentment, happiness, success than ever. And they think they live in a country that's unjust and immoral. They have been ill-educated, mal-educated. And it's really a shame. I know young people, Chris, who really think that by the time they're 65, the world is not going to be habitable because of climate change, which is another hoax. There's no evidence for it.
there's no evidence. How could you possibly say that? I mean, how in the world could you, it's beyond me.
The greatest country ever. They have.
It's beyond me. And guys, I tell you, we're going to have so much fun ripping him a new one. We're going to go piece by piece because we're not going to let him get away. You know, on this show, if there's one thing we do, and we do it very well, is we take no prisoners. When we catch a lying, that's it. But you know what bothers me? You know how guys like Uncle Joey can listen to the lies, and it doesn't bother him. You know, somebody lies to me, I go nuts. Well, you know, so what? So it's only a little lie. So what? He's only the president, you know. He's supposed to tell it. Nah, come on. All politicians lie. No, wrong. All politicians don't lie. But you know what? There's some foxtitudes that do TV shows. And guys, one of my favorites is Judge Janine. And I call her a foxtitude because she sold her soul. And well, no, she never had a soul. So she sold something. But anyway, listen to her and listen how she tricks the simple folk with cow farts. And this is all you need to do, because now anybody with half a brain, when it comes to global warming, goes, oh, you believe that in those cow farts? Yeah, we're going to show you. So, Judy, let's have clip number 5, please.
And the methane gas produced by the bovine flatulence contributes to the greenhouse gases that contributes to global warming.
And I could just see Kenny Johnson looking at this picture.
And their hypocrisy. It knows no bounds as they hang on to dear life, political life albeit.
See how she's got everything ass backwards? The liberals are hanging on for their political life. The 1%. Judy, put that back up. Guys, seriously. Hey, guys, we've all done it. I mean, with my kids, when they were growing up, come pull Daddy's finger. Hey, we've all done it. We've all done it. But guys, you know, we've also tried to express some truth as we've grown up. So let's see how deceitful Sean Hannity can be with this next short little clip. Judy, can we have number 7, please?
The American dream that has created more wealth, more prosperity than any other country on the face of this earth, it's over. Government will take over every single industry, the healthcare industry, no private healthcare, the energy industry. They will give you that cradle to grave, womb to tomb promise. They'll tell you what car you can drive, where you can travel, what you can eat, and even how you cook it.
Guys, notice how he's got it down to such a science. The words just roll off his... Why? Because he's done it so often. And you know what? Here's the ironic thing. The next clip we're going to play you is Jesse Waters. And just listen carefully and see if him and Hannity weren't at the same meeting when these talking points and these dog whistles were given out. So, Judy, you got to remember, we get a little tricky here. So let's have clip number, I think it was 7A. There you go. You got it.
The Democrats have now just become greedy control freaks. They want to tell you what to wear, what to say, what to drive, what to eat, what to drink, and they want to take your health care, they want to take your money, and they want to take your kids' money.
Guys, did we just hear the same thing? They both said virtually the same thing. So can you imagine going into a meeting at Fox News? And I don't know who's running Fox News now, and they're going to sit there and the talking points for the day. What are the talking points? Oh, and we're going to do this, and then you wonder, and you hear the repetition and the echo chamber, and you start to say to yourself, wait a minute, who's feeding this stuff to these people? And, it's got to be places like the Heritage Foundation, the think tanks that pay these people to sit around a table and say, wait, what are we going to do now? The Democrats got a pretty good idea. They want to give health care to everyone. How do we go around this? How do we get everybody to vote against their own interests? Aha! We'll tell them the government's trying to take control of them. That'll get them going. And then we'll incite them with some other stuff. And then we'll tell them they're being attacked and we're being invaded. And everybody will sit there and go, oh, no. Oh, I got to vote Republican. I got to stop the doom and the gloom. But guys, the next clip is going to be with this will be number 8 now. And no, I'm sorry, we did number 8. So next we're going to play we didn't do 8? Okay, thanks, Kurt. So let's do it.
But if you were
nice
an
job,
avid viewer
Kurt.
of a certain cable news program, the president's words probably sounded pretty familiar.
I'll sign the final papers as soon as I get into the Oval Office, and we will have a national emergency.
The national emergency would be challenged, as we always see with the Democrats.
And we will then be sued.
They'll get to the Ninth Circuit.
And they will sue us in the Ninth Circuit.
The president will lose the first round.
And we will possibly get a bad ruling, and then we'll get another bad ruling.
He'll lose the second round.
And then we'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair
Sounds
shake.
like a
Under the
song.
Supreme Court, the president is on solid legal ground.
And we'll win in the Supreme Court.
Guys, you know what I should have done? I should have tried to find a clip from Jesse Waters on that. And this way we could have compared it. And I can almost guarantee you, it would have been virtually the same thing in a verbatim status. But guys, so now we're going to have some fun because Hannity and Tucker and Judge Janina and Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter, everybody thinks that AOC is the bad guy. So guys, this was the most viewed clip of the week, of last week, from AOC. Most viewed on, I don't know if it was on Facebook or Twitter, but trust me, it was most viewed. And guys, I tell you what, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Remember, after we do the shorts, we're gonna do the full clips, in the second half of the show. So, Judy, let's prove my point with AOC playing the bad guy with clip number 9, please.
Are there any limits on the laws that I can write or influence, especially if I'm based on the special interest funds that I accepted to finance my campaign and get me elected in the first place?
There's no limit.
So there's none. So I can be totally funded by oil and gas. I can be totally funded by Big Pharma, come in, write Big Pharma laws, and there's no limits to that whatsoever.
That's right.
Okay, so awesome.
So there's no limits to that whatsoever. Awesome, right? And guys, Judy, all right? I think we got stuck there. All right. So anyway, now, I've got a lot of respect for AOC, and I want to tell you, she really raised a fuss about Bezos and Amazon opening up shop in New York. And I think she was one of the reasons why they canceled the idea that they were going to do business in Long Island City in New York. But guys, I was saying, it's time that these billionaires started paying their fair share. Well, guys, I want to tell you something. Bezos is starting to not set a record, but set an example. And guys, he built a bunch of wind farms. I tell you, with the wind farms, he's benefiting the communities that he's putting up the turbines in. And the amount of projects that he's got slated are unbelievable. So on one hand, I'm saying, he wants to take a $3 billion advantage of the people of New York State. But on the other hand, he's building wind farms and solar power plants, so I'm a little conflicted. But guys, we're going to have some fun, and we're going to show you how some people in the communities benefit from Bezos and his wind farms. Number 10, Judy.
Paulding Chamber of Commerce is thrilled to celebrate all of the renewable energy projects that we have going on. These are great ways for us to develop the economic benefits locally and not only our county, but counties around us as well.
On a county level, we've been able to give our employees raises. The school systems have been able to add instructors.
There you go.
After construction, I know of no township road that isn't in better condition after they've left.
Now you're starting to talk my language. You know, you're going to start treating, no longer are these people going to be treated like second-class citizens. What do you do for a living? I maintain turbines. You do? Wow. You must be in terrific shape to climb 500 feet. It comes with the territory. But guys, we're going to show you Bezos on top of one of his turbines, and I want to tell you, let's see, so let's go to number 11, and you'll see some of the other projects that he's got in store, and that's going to be coming in the near future. So Judy, number 11, please. Just opened a massive new wind farm in Texas. He christened the Amazon Wind Farm Texas by smashing a champagne bottle over the side. It's going to add 1 million megawatt hours. Look at those things, guys. Man, I'd love to go up there as long as I was belted off. Look at that. Wow. Hey, by the time you get up to where you're going to do the work, it's time for lunch. You got to come back down. All right, but guys, you know, you're going to say, Rich, turbines are ineffective. They're not worth it. They're no good. And guys, what we're going to do is we're going to show you in the United Kingdom, they use a lot of wind resources. And I want to tell you, this next clip is going to prove how valuable turbines can be and how they can save the next generation from global warming. So Judy, let's have number 12, please.
Bloomberg reports that the UK just went 55 hours without using any coal-generated energy. The report's findings were based off of data from the national grid. The previous UK record for not using coal was 40 hours. That was set last October. According to the report, most of the country's energy was produced by wind turbines. The UK reportedly has more offshore wind turbines than any other country. The country is prioritizing renewable energy and hopes to turn off all coal plants by 2025.
2025, 6 years from now, they want to turn off all coal generation in the United Kingdom. Simple, isn't it? And you know, not only are they going to be beneficial for the planet, look at all the jobs they're creating, look at all the money that they're saving. And with the Tesla batteries, I mean, these things are, I mean, they're just dynamite. All right, now we're coming to the second half of the show where we're going to play the longer clips, which is, you know, virtually what we played in the beginning. And the first one, it's a little sad because I'm telling you, you're going to feel for the people, you know, and, you know, Hillary tried to help them, and she was man enough to tell them, hey, look, your industry is dying. You know, we'll help you. We'll help you make the transition. And what did Trump do? Trump lied to everybody. And he said, no, we're going to bring back coal. Mr. President, please do yourself a favor. Pick up a newspaper one day. You know, pick up a magazine. Watch something other than Fox News. Please. Anything other than Fox News so you can get a taste of reality. Because, guys, he doesn't know if he's coming or going. And you can't feel sorry for him because he's ruined the country. But anyway, let's show you what some towns have gone through and how dramatic the effect that coal has made on the communities. So, Judy, clip number 22, please.
Now, what happened in 2012 was something unprecedented. Natural gas per BTU became cheaper than coal, and that was the point at which you saw coal sort of go off a cliff. And we went from having 20,000 coal mining jobs in eastern Kentucky to 10,000 jobs almost overnight.
I'm actually a fourth generation coal miner. Pretty much, you know, all my family, uncles, you know, my dad's grandpa, his dad, then him, and then myself. I had done it for 22 years, and it always provided a good living, you know, for me and my family. I always made good money in the mines.
Coal mine's hard, dangerous work. You know, I got banged up a bunch. I got black lung. If you work the coal mines, you get black lung. If you work underground, you will get black lung.
How reassuring.
Not have a high school diploma or just have a high school diploma and in 5 years make a six-figure salary. I mean, once you do that for a couple of years, you're kind of stuck.
In understanding Appalachia, it's important to understand some of the very real, deep, and persistent economic challenges that these communities face. We have among the highest poverty rates, among the greatest percentages of families living in poverty. The per capita incomes are low. If you look at eastern Kentucky, you see poverty rates and unemployment rates that are much higher than the rest of the nation. If you look at Perry County, for example, I think the 3-year average unemployment rate is close to 10%.
When I was a kid, the playgrounds and the streets were full. I mean, we had 2 country clubs that had swimming pools, that both had golf courses, had tons of members, you know, all due to the coal industry. And then today, there's no downtown businesses, 2 local convenience stores, 3 or 4 places to eat out. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, the homes are falling down because they've been vacant for so long. The communities, you know, look bad, and there's no jobs there.
People have left and gone to other places to seek employment, and so we have communities that have lost 50, 60, even 75% of their population.
Sad, isn't it, guys? I mean, coal left, and it left the people behind. And then Trump gave them this false pledge that he was going to revive the industry, and he got them to vote for him, and then what happened? Same thing with the wall. He made a promise he can't keep. But that's Trump. That's what con men do. Con men con you. So get used to it, you know? But the next clip we're going to play is from CNN. And guys, this is going to show you the whole aspect of what's really happening with the whole coal industry. So Judy, this is in 2 parts. So let's have 23A, please. Nice job. Judy's on
As
the
a candidate,
ball, guys.
Donald Trump promised to revive the coal industry. So as we enter his 3rd year in office, has he done it? CNN's Bill Weir is in coal country to check in on that campaign promise. Bill joins us live from Pennsylvania. Hi, Bill.
Good morning, Allison. We're standing in front of one of more than 250 coal-powered power plants that have gone out of business since 2010. Of course, a lot of folks in this part of the world chalk that up to a so-called war on coal from the Democrats, and Barack Obama and Donald Trump seized on their fears and resentments there and promised to bring this industry back. Well, now 2 years in, we came here for a reality check.
Across America, more and more coal-fired smokestacks are smoke-free. The power plants beneath them, cold and dark. The mines that once fed them, abandoned. But for the past couple of years, miners and their families let themselves believe that a coal comeback was on the way. thanks to promises like this.
We are putting our great coal miners back to work.
He's trying to get their votes. He isn't telling them the truth.
He's lying to them.
He's lying to them.
You used to work in this mine.
I worked in this mine. I was a face boss.
What else?
For 52 years, Art Sullivan worked in and consulted on mines around the world. And he bristles every time he hears the president claim to be the savior of coal.
And that really disturbs me, because these are really good people. These are the people that I've spent my life working with.
Salt of the
and
earth.
if they have the truth, they will make the right decisions.
If the president was honest, he would explain to those folks that mines like this are never, ever coming back to life again. Not because of regulation, but competition. Coal just cannot compete with cheaper, cleaner natural gas, wind, and solar. That's the reason more coal-fired power plants have gone out of business in the first 2 years of Donald Trump and the first 4 years of Barack Obama. Another 20 are expected to go down this year. And if a miner is hired today, chances are he'll be digging to fill the demand in India.
So guys, another 20 plants are scheduled to close. And you know, you'd think that Trump would be honest to everybody and say, hey, listen, I made a mistake, but you know what? I'm going to make good. I'm going to make sure that you all get jobs in new technologies, in solar, in wind, geothermal. But no. He's got to protect his billionaire buddies, like the guy from Murray Coal, you know? And I tell you, as long as we got Trump on the ropes, let's keep hitting him with number 23B, Judy. So hit it.
Do you feel the president gave these communities false hope?
In my opinion,
false
absolutely.
Hope, yeah.
I mean, I'm an expert. He's not. And when he was campaigning, I talked to his people and I said, what's your plan? How are you bringing back coal? Because it could be brought back if these plants would come back up, and deregulating stuff will help this much. It's not going to help a lot.
Trump's EPA, now led by a former coal lobbyist in
You
Andrew
gotta
Wheeler,
be kidding me.
recently moved to lift Obama-era
You
caps
gotta
on
be
how much
kidding
poisonous
me.
mercury and how much heat-trapping carbon power plants can pump into the sky, which really worries climate scientists like Penn State's Michael Mann.
We're already experiencing impacts of climate change that could have been avoided had we acted, 2 decades ago, when we knew already at that point that there's a problem.
In order to save life as we know it, Mann says rich countries need to be on carbon-free electricity by 2030, which means 80% of current coal reserves need to stay in the ground.
I think there's enough resilience in the system that we can withstand one 4-year term of Donald Trump. I'm not sure we can withstand 2.
He's among the chorus calling for an energy revolution. And Art knows a few folks who might be able to pitch in.
If you spend several years working in coal mines, you're going to come to understand electricity, hydraulics, mechanics, geology. I see no limitation on the average coal miner's ability to transition into any other field.
But first, they need leaders willing to transition to the truth.
They need leaders. Guys, they need leaders who are going to tell them the truth. And what's so hard about this? Hey, look, we don't make buggy whips anymore. Oh, we probably do. But very few of them. I mean, really, let's think about this, There ain't too many buggies. But guys, you know what? We can always find somebody who can always look for buggy whips and confuse the simple folk. And guys, watch how Judge Janine does it. She tries to dismiss the idea that global warming is a hoax and it's a joke. And listen how she tries to trick the simple folk. So Judy, clip number 24, please.
And every one of the 2020 Democrat presidential candidates supports the Green Deal proposed by a freshman congresswoman so knowledgeable about Washington that she thinks she came here to sign bills. which Green Deal
what do you think she
will
went for,
literally
you
pull
bonehead?
planes out of the sky. No issue, I guess, since the left is happy with the influx coming in through our southern border. No air travel required for them. This Green Deal, supported by Booker and Harris and Sanders and Gillibrand and Warren, requires that every building in America be rebuilt for environmental reasons and that high-speed rail be developed so that air travel becomes unnecessary. The Green Deal foresees Medicare for all and considers a deficit not that big a deal because, according to Ocasio-Cortez, we can just print more money. You know what? You should have left your Monopoly game home when you came to Washington. But my favorite part is where they seek a net zero greenhouse gas in 10 years. So you may ask why net zero as opposed to zero. The reason is that they're not sure they'll be able to get rid of bovine flatulence. I can't believe I was just saying this. AKA cows farting. These emissions from cows are a concern to the left because these bovine emissions have an environmental impact, and the methane gas produced by the bovine flatulence contributes to the greenhouse gases that contributes to global warming. Need I say more? And their hypocrisy. It knows no bounds as they hang on to dear life, political life albeit.
Now, you know what? You don't have to say any more. All you had to do was show a picture of cows farting, and the simple folk that watch Fox, that's the impression they'll get, and that's the impression they're going to want to keep. Now, Judy, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curve here because we're going to go a little bit out of sequence. And guys, the next clip we're going to play you is from a guy that, I tell you, very rare I get the opportunity to see any video with him in it. But we're going to play you a clip now, clip number 30, Judy, if you can get that racked up. And guys, this is going to be the full clip with Chris Wallace and Rush Limbaugh, and this was on Sunday on Fox News. So guys, we're going to play the whole clip for you, and then we're going to dissect it, and we're going to rip Rush a new one. So Judy, can we have clip number 30, please?
To win the presidency. Let me ask you about that, because you talked about the Green New Deal and the trains to Hawaii. You've also...
The train to Hawaii.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, yeah, you know, what was it in Back to the Future, where we go, we don't need roads or apparently tracks. The calls for Medicare for all, calls for huge increases on taxes on the very wealthy. How potent an issue do you think the president has, and how much do you think he will make this case that the Democrats want to make this a socialist country?
I think it's a huge case because we're not a socialist country, and even Fox News poll the other day pointed out how many people prefer capitalism. We've done a real disservice to our young people. You look at this new Green Deal and you look at the things that they think are true. They live in the greatest country ever. They have more opportunity for contentment, happiness, success than ever. And they think they live in a country that's unjust and immoral. They have been ill-educated, mal-educated, and it's really a shame. I know young people, Chris, who really think that by the time they're 65, the world is not going to be habitable because of climate change, which is another hoax. There's no evidence for it. Climate change is nothing but a bunch of computer models that attempt to tell us what's going to happen in 50 years or 30. Notice the predictions are never for next year or the next 10 years. They're always for way, 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 way out there when none of us are going to be around or alive to know whether or not they were true. In the meantime, they get to push for more government, big government, more tax increases, more control over people.
More government, big government, tax increases. You get the idea, right?
In K-12 education and higher education to these young. I mean, graduating economics degree graduates like Cortez, it doesn't know what you could put on a thimble about economics.
Knows more
it's
than
really
you
a shame,
do, you
and
buffoon.
it's a problem going forward. They're going to have to be defeated, beaten. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us again.
Oh my gosh, that's it. We're out of time.
We're out of 14
Thank
minutes.
you
Let's
so
say
much.
we flew by. Anyway, it's always good to talk with
really
you.
did.
Anytime
It
you want to
always
come back, you're always welcome, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Guys, you know, it's amazing how I think, don't quote me, but I heard numbers. I think he makes about $30 million a year. Now, why would an industry want to pay somebody that much money? Because he puts a lot more than that in their pocket. I mean, just the way they buy the politicians and get the politicians to do what they want, they buy the celebrities at Fox News. And guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to take that clip that we just watched and we're going to go through it piece by piece just so you could see how deceitful and how he lied to everybody. So Kirk, can you make sure I got good volume? And Judy, can we have clip number 31, please?
The president.
Let me ask you about that, because you talked about the Green New Deal and the trains to Hawaii. You've also got...
Great. Isn't that wonderful?
Well,
isn't that wonderful? Judy, come back to me. Isn't that wonderful? You see, to him, it's a joke, you know? And on the last clip, we talked about net zero. You know, well, of course, you're not going to build rails to Hawaii, but the jets that you fly over could be flown on biofuel, or they can have offsets. There's different ways to do it. But Fox doesn't want to tell you that. Why? Because they want to trick the simple folk. They want them to think that we have to burn fossil fuels. So, Judy, let's move ahead with clip number 32, where they're going to say about socialism. So, Judy, 32, please.
You know, what was it in Back to the Future, where we go, we don't need roads or apparently tracks. The calls for Medicare for all, calls for huge increases on taxes on the very wealthy. How potent an issue do you think the president has, and how much do you think he will make this case that the Democrats want to make this a socialist country?
Guys, we're already a socialist country. We've got the largest military in the world. That's a socialist organization. Think about our police forces, our fire department, our libraries, our schools. Think about everything. We're social animals. We do things socially. We do things together. Socialism is sharing. We share the burden. What's so difficult about this? The difficult about this is the guys that garner most of the wealth in this country, they want to make sure that they keep it, and they don't want to share it. And you look at what with Trump with his tax plan. Look at how he deceased everybody with his tax plan. But Judy, let's keep forging ahead, and we'll just let Rush keep digging a deeper grave with things that they claim about being true. So Judy, number 33, please.
I think it's a huge case because we're not a socialist country, and even Fox News poll the other day pointed out how many people prefer capitalism. We've done a real disservice to our young people. You look at this new Green Deal and you look at the things that they think are true.
The things that they think are true. Guys, you know what? We're teaching our kids to be critical thinkers, to figure out how things are true. And you know, you're not gonna sit there and tell me the world is 6,000 years old, and I'm not gonna let you get away with it. And you're not gonna let me, you're not gonna let me corrupt your kids with the idea, that we don't live in a universe. They cloud reality. They can't understand about what happens when you put carbon in the air. But guys, let's just keep going. We'll just keep having fun. So Judy, did we do 33? Okay, can you do 34? And that's the one, you're the best, kid.
The greatest country ever. They have more opportunity for contentment, happiness, success than ever. And they think they live in a country that's unjust and immoral. They have been ill-educated, mal-educated, and it's really a shame. I know young people, Chris, who really think that by the time they're 65, the world is not going to be habitable because of climate change, which is another hoax. There's no evidence for it.
Guys, now, I tell you, Uncle Rich is at fault because I did not put a chart up. I forgot to put it. And we can't put it. I don't know. Maybe Judy will surprise me and be able to put up a global warming chart. But guys, the evidence is plain to see. All you got to do is use your little Google machine and look at NASA and global warming chart. And it's as plain as the nose on my face. But you know what? Rush will try to trick you. And how does he try to trick you? He'll try to use some nonsense like computer models. So Judy, can you bring up 35, please?
For it. Climate change is nothing but a bunch of computer models that attempt to tell us what's going to happen in 50 years
Computer
or 30.
models.
Notice the predictions are never for next year or the next 10 years. They're always for way, 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 way out there when none of us are going to be around or alive to know whether or not they were true.
Guys, I'm going to tell you one thing, and remember this. This is the second thing that I really want you to remember on this show. When somebody mentions the models, hey, the models predict nothing's going to happen. Say, wait a minute. We don't model, we measure. We don't model, we measure. And then ask them, what's the hottest decade in recorded history? And guess what decade it is? This one. Guys, the science is certain. You can't fool Mother Nature. It's that simple, But Rush and the Republican Party and the guys that don't care when their intelligence gets insulted, and what they try to do is they try to tell people like Uncle Joe, they want to control you. They want to control you and take advantage of you. Exactly ass opposite of what they're doing. So Judy, let's prove it with clip 36.
Meantime, they get to push for more government, big government, more tax increases, more control over people.
More taxes, more this, more that.
It's sad what has been done in K-12 education and higher education to these young. I mean, graduating economics degree graduates like Cortez, it doesn't know what you could put on a thimble about economics. It's really a shame.
Hey, she knows what income inequality is. She knows when corporations are taking advantage of you. And the corporate guys don't want to hear that nonsense. What, you want us to pay our people a living wage? Well, what about the corporate profits? We got to put the profits before the people. What are you, nuts? This is capitalism. Guys, there's going to be a new capitalism in America, and it's going to be called moral capitalism, better known as socialism. And guys, just get used to hearing socialism because you're going to hear it more and more. So Judy, the last clip we're going to play, Rush says these people need to be beaten. They need to be defeated. And I'm saying to myself, hey, you want to defeat us? Fine. Come up with better ideas. Come up with better technology. Show us how you can help your fellow man by doing the right thing instead of taking advantage of them. So, Judy, this will be the last clip with Rush. So, number 37, please.
Economics. It's really a shame, and it's a problem going forward. They're going to have to be defeated, beaten. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us again.
Oh my gosh, that's it. We're out of time.
We're out of 14 minutes.
We
flew by. Anyway, it's always good to talk with you. Anytime you want to come back, you're always welcome, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. See you next time.
All right, Judy, I want to make sure we're going to have to skip ahead. I don't think we have enough time. But I want to go to number 28A because I want to show AOC. I'm telling you, she did such a dynamite job. Just listen how she hammered these guys at this panel and made them look like a bunch of buffoons. I'm telling you, you're going to love this. She put the shoe on the other foot, and then she hit him over the head with the other one. So, Judy, number 28A, please.
Let's play a game. Let's play a lightning round game. I'm going to be the bad guy, which I'm sure half the room would agree with anyway. And I want to get away with as much bad things as possible, ideally to enrich myself and advance my interest, even if that means putting my interests ahead of the American people. So, Mrs. Hobart Flynn. Oh, and by the way, I have enlisted all of you as my co-conspirators. So you're going to help me legally get away with all of this. So, Mrs. Hobart Flynn, I want to run. If I want to run a campaign that is entirely funded by corporate political action committees, is there anything that legally prevents me from doing that? No. Okay, so there's nothing stopping me from being entirely funded by corporate PACs, say from the fossil fuel industry, the healthcare industry, big pharma. I'm entirely 100% lobbyist PAC funded. Okay, so let's say I'm a really, really bad guy, and let's say I have some skeletons in my closet that I need to cover up so that I can get elected. Mr. Smith, is it true that you wrote this article, this opinion piece for the Washington Post entitled, "These payments to women were unseemly, that doesn't mean they were illegal"?
Well, I can't see the piece, but I wrote a piece under that headline in the Post, so I assume that's right.
Okay, great. So, green light for hush money. I can do all sorts of terrible things. It's totally legal right now for me to pay people off. And that is considered speech. That money is considered speech. So I use my special interest dark money funded campaign to pay off folks that I need to pay off and get elected. So now I'm elected, now I'm in. I've got the power to draft, lobby, and shape the laws that govern the United States of America. Fabulous. Now, is there any hard limit that I have, perhaps Mrs. Hobart Flynn, is there any hard limit that I have in terms of what legislation I'm allowed to touch? Are there any limits on the laws that I can write or influence, especially if I'm based on the special interest funds that I accepted to finance my campaign and get me elected in the first place?
There's no limit.
So there's none. So I can be totally funded by oil and gas. I can be totally funded by Big Pharma, come in, write Big Pharma laws, and there's no limits to that whatsoever.
That's right.
Okay, so awesome.
No limits whatsoever. It's called buying the government. It's really simple. And guys, you know what she came up with the other day? She had there was a bunch of homeless people standing in line to go to a committee meeting. And she found out that these homeless people were being paid by the lobbyists because the first one, it's first come, first serve. So rather than a lobbyist standing in line, they'll pay a homeless guy 10 or 20 bucks an hour to stand in line. And when they get to go into the committee, they say, okay, here's your money, thank you. And they walk in. And guys, nonsense like this has got to stop. And we're going to have fun with the next clip we have because I tell you, AOC takes no prisoners. So Judy, number 28A, please. No, I'm part B. B, no, 28B. That's 29.
Okay, so awesome. Now, Mr. Mirabani, the last thing I want to do is get rich with as little work possible. That's really what I'm trying to do as the bad guy, right? So is there anything preventing me from holding stocks, say, in an oil or gas company, and then writing laws to deregulate that industry and cause, that could potentially cause the stock value to soar and accrue a lot of money in that time?
You could do that.
So I could do that. I could do that now with the way our current laws are set up. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so my last question is, or one of my last questions, I guess I'd say, is it possible that any elements of this story apply to our current government and our current public servants right now?
Yes.
Yes. So we have a system that is fundamentally broken. We have these influences existing in this body, which means that these influences are here in this committee shaping the questions that are being asked of you all right now. Would you say that that's correct, Mr. Mirabani or Mr. Schaub?
Yes.
All right, so one last thing, Mr. Schaub. In relation to congressional oversight that we have, the limits that are placed on me as a congresswoman, compared to the executive branch and compared to, say, the President of the United States, would you say that Congress has the same sort of standard of accountability? Is there more teeth in that regulation in Congress on the President, or would you say it's about even, or more so on the federal?
In terms of laws that apply to the president, yeah, there's almost no laws at all that apply to the president.
So I'm being held, and every person in this body is being held to a higher ethical standard than the President of the United States.
That's right, because there are some ethics committee rules that apply to you.
And it's already super legal, as we've seen, for me to be a pretty bad guy. So it's even easier for the President of the United States to be one, I would assume.
That's right.
Guys, you gotta love her. I mean, she takes no prisoners. Hey, this is what we need. A woman with balls. And I thank her for it. Judy, how much time we got left? 1 minute. Let's roll number 29, because I'll tell you what, we gotta give Jeff Bezos his due. So let's run 29. You'll see what kind of wind farms he's building. And then we want to thank Martino's for the dynamite pizza. And I want to thank Judy and Kurt and Candy. Hey, guys, everything went well tonight. And I want to tell you, it's so nice when everything works. So everybody, thank you. And Judy, let's go out with style. Clip number 29, please.
We are committed to running our business in the most environmentally friendly way possible. We are continuously innovating our data centers to reduce energy use as our business grows.
I love my job at AWS because everything I'm helping AWS accomplish positively impacts the environment.
Look at those
and as more and more customers use AWS, that positive impact is amplified.
EDP Renewables is a global leader in the renewable energy sector. We've worked with Paulding County for more than 8 years to develop this wind farm.
That's a thing of beauty,
working with hundreds
isn't it?
of farmers, landowners, and the community to educate landowners about wind energy, to partner with them in long-term lease agreements.
Over the past 2 years, AWS has signed power purchase agreements for 3 wind farms and 1 solar farm. Together, these projects will generate more than 1.6 million megawatt hours of additional renewable energy annually. That's equivalent to the energy needed to power more than 150,000 U.S. homes for a year.
Wow. Paulding Chamber of Commerce is thrilled to celebrate all of the renewable energy projects that we have going on. These are great ways for us to develop the economic benefits locally, and not only our county, but the counties around us as well.
On a county level, we've been able to give our employees raises. The school systems have been able to add instructors.